not really acceptable. It's usually probably somewhere from like 2 to 5 seconds when I'm working on a project. When you save it in your code, it live updates it into your web browser for your project. So waiting a minute, or when I was live streaming, it would actually double that in, so it'd be about 100 seconds. And that was just getting pretty ridiculous and unmanageable. So this is the process that I went through to debug that. And I wasn't quite sure where that was coming from, but it pulls in all of these different files. So I figured if we can eliminate the file that's slowing it down, we can probably figure that out a lot easier. So there's this process of troubleshooting where you go through and you chunk it. So say you have like 20. Say you have 20 assets that are coming in. You're not sure which of those 20 files it's coming from. So you uncomment the first half, save it, see if it's working. If it's not working yet, then you uncomment that. First half is good, you comment out the second half, and all of a sudden you get it working. So now you know it's in that second half, you do the same thing again. You chunk the first half and the second half, and you keep going until you reach the file that's causing the problem. So if we look here, I have this leaf file that I commented out. That's when things started working. So then I come into, if you'll see here, I have leaf main, and then there's all these assets within the leaf. So I knew it was within my leaf folder. Then I have to come in to figure out exactly where it's coming from in leaf. So you'll see that I'm commenting out different sections, huge sections, to try and get there as quickly as possible. Because if I went through one by one, uncommented one, uncommented the next, that would take a lot longer. So this is the most time-effective way of doing it. And I'll see here that when I commented out this little section that includes CTA, FAQ, forms, grid, I get a 2.9 second build, which is what we're looking for. So I knew that it was in here somewhere. I come through and I start uncommenting them one by one, because I've eliminated it to 4 different files at this point. Now I can start individually testing them. So uncomment out FAQ and forms, and it's still working. So I uncomment the FAQ. We get a 2.9 millisecond build time. So I've officially eliminated it to only be in the form. Next thing I have to do is actually come into the forms SCSS file and figure out where this is all coming from. So this is where it starts dawning on me that if you see on this line 111 right here, it's done in a really weird way. I thought this was the cleanest way to do it in SCSS, but as I went through this file and tried to figure out exactly where it's coming from, it's coming from that line, and I know it is. So obviously, just because that's the cleanest way to do it in the SCSS doesn't mean that that's the optimal way to do it for speed when it comes to the build process. So what I will probably do is find some type of tool. I know that even CodePen could do this, but I'll come into, take these lines right here, I will copy them, and I will put them into like say CodePen, for example, something that will show me the outputted version of the SCSS, and then I'll copy the CSS and probably just try and do normal CSS, because there's something majorly wrong about the way that I structured that. Clearly, I don't understand all of how Webpack and Yarn work in this build process, but clearly the way that it's structured, it's taking way too long. So we've eliminated it to that point, And that's just my video today, is a quick little tutorial of how I would troubleshoot something. If you ever are using Bonsai or Roots and you run into this problem where the build process is taking way too long, then this is a really good way to optimize it quickly, figure out where those problems are coming from. So for now, I can comment out those forms. That gives me a 3-second build time. That's way better. That's awesome. And I guess on my next stream, I'll focus on rewriting that code so that it's a lot faster. All right. Stay cool, my babies. Peace.